here. I'm dressed up nice, and I didn't get to finish my last live stream talking about being in line with the Spirit because I was having audio issues. I feel like I should come back and finish that up. Talking about all that stuff. And I am happy to share that I've been, I would say, really connected lately with what one might call the Holy Spirit or the God or the great beyond or whatever you call it. Been doing big things in my life. And being obedient, trying to relish in that. I'm here to talk about it again. A bit of a follow-up. Last time, it was right after I went to a City Team graduation. For those of you guys who don't know, City Team is an organization that started right here in the Bay Area that obviously deals with poverty alleviation and has over 100 pantries all over the United States, 50 of which are in the Silicon Valley alone, and then they got ones in Oakland, San Francisco, other places like Portland, and other locations on the East Coast. It's a growing organization that's been around for a long time. But what they have are addiction restoration programs, and that's where I worked for years. And before then, I worked in their outreach, where I would bring food trucks to encampments and all that. I'll just share, God kind of put me on a path. He gave me this irresistible calling, this calling that wouldn't stop. I had to do something about all the, people suffering from extreme poverty. And I responded. I, went into deep encampments. And really, honestly, unless that calling is so irresistible in your heart, it really can be overwhelming if you do what I did and went 5 days a week into encampments. It's really hard to do that. It really wears on you. You really come across so many dead bodies. Honestly, it's really, really hard work to do. But it's something that shaped me into who I am. And God kind of gave me this vision to transition out of going into encampments, doing that thing, into going into restoration programs that work with people suffering from addiction. Over deeply with people who are really, really, really at the end of their rope. And there's a lot of beauty in that, being a part of someone's restoration. And I want to encourage you, any of you guys out there watching, what's up? Can you vent? Yeah, go ahead, type away. This is open chat. Do whatever you want, but I'm here to talk about the Holy Spirit, so I'm gonna keep doing that. So if you guys are out there, if you guys are believers, I want to encourage you guys just to be obedient to how He's leading you. And if you guys aren't believers, shape that any way you want, because that's between you and God, or you and whatever you identify as God, between you and whatever you identify as the Holy Spirit. I'm seeing an incomplete question here by Ice Cream Scoop. What? Let's hear it, man. Let's step away, man. Let's hear it. As he's typing there, I'll continue in what I'm saying here, that God, He kind of gave me this vision that if I really want to change, make the world a better place, I have to really, really pursue change in future generations. At school, I'm sorry, Ice Cream, I'm sorry to hear that, man. School hates you. Here's the thing, since you're the only one left, Ice Cream, I gotta tell you, people suck. And that's something that I realized a long time ago, and it's important to understand that you should never ever base your own worth on what other people think, because other people are often wrong, and opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one, and they all stink. In terms of the most important person to have a relationship with, obviously, if you want to talk about physical beings, it's the man in the mirror. Michael Jackson has a great song, "Man in the Mirror," but reality is, like, we're really you don't need what other people tell you to lift yourself up. The important person to talk to is the man in the mirror. But I want to encourage all you guys out there to look deeper, look past their physical self. If you see yourself in the mirror, there's more to you than what you see. It is my belief, at least, that within all of us there's a soul. Within all of us there's something that's gonna extend beyond the physical. It's gonna go into potentially eternity. And that's a beautiful thing. And we only have so long in this plane. And in my opinion, we're all destined to do something, whether it be great or crappy. Let's just focus on doing great while we're here. And if you want to, back to where God's been leading me, I now work in an organization that does youth advocacy, and you can tell I'm dressed up all nice. As it is intervening in the lives of kids before it goes really far south for them. And just to share a bit about my personal experience, what I've observed, a lot of people whose lives, fell into ruin potentially from things like addiction. It started way back when they were kids. Something happened that they weren't able to heal from, or bad habits started when they were young and continued into adulthood. I just want to share that it's never too late for anyone. But the younger you can catch people in their lives, the brighter the future you can help make for them. And I'm speaking that as a macro statement, but think of it as like a micro statement too. Is we want to do the best we can for future generations. And if you have family members or friends in your life who are younger, I know our current generation is so against wisdom, but wisdom's a really important thing that we, as a whole, as a society, need to start valuing more. I think now with the internet and AI, how like immediate everything is, there's this idea that, well, just because you have access to all information means you know everything. But one of the most humbling things you can accept is you'll never know everything, and someone always knows something you don't. So something that's semi-empowering I could share with you guys is like there's always going to be someone wiser, and even if they're a dumbass, like, they're going to know something you don't know. And just think of that. Like, what can I learn from this person, even if I completely disagree with them in this moment, even if they have a set of experience that I would say is less than mine, I can still find the value in what they're saying. Just having that open approach to connecting with people is going to help make the world a better place. So I say we as a society and as individuals who are trying to make a difference in the world, if we do a better job at finding the balance between like being humble and like listening, but also firm and like conveying the knowledge you have, whether I'm not saying it's better or worse or more or less. I think too often now, especially in activism, there's so many people out there who are just like, well, you are I would say, white man, therefore you can't speak to race relations or anything like that. That eliminates you from a conversation. It just turns you into a fly on the wall. I'm here to encourage all you guys out there in the space interacting with those who are in need of an audience, in need of a hug, in need of love in their lives, is to not be silent, but to present yourself as a microphone for them, and say, I have a set of experience that can help you. It's different than what you've experienced. You may perceive me as less valuable to this conversation, but I want to contribute. And that humility is, to take it back to the theme of this video, that humility is really Christ-like. And I know not everyone here is a believer, and that's okay. I just want to cite Jesus as a great example of how to convey to people. When there was a woman who was about to be stoned to death for being accused of adultery, Jesus didn't, stand up on a pedestal and say, I am God and you do what I say. Jesus, brought himself down to her level and said to them, he who is without sin cast the first stone. But what a lot of people miss about that story about Jesus kneeling down to the level of the person who was about to be stoned to death is Jesus, if there were a bunch of rocks being thrown at this lady, would have been hit by the same rocks. So I'm not saying to you, in order to be an effective advocate for others, you have to stand in a line of fire. But I am saying, like, in order to connect with others, you really do have to come down to the level. And sometimes that is offering space. But again, find that balance of what space is versus what being completely silent is. And again, this is coming from someone with the color of my skin who works in advocacy. I think too often people are like, well, just because you're white, or just because you're a believer, or just because you're Christian, or just because you wouldn't present yourself as being impoverished, it doesn't mean you can't speak to these issues. And I've witnessed a lot of things that are extremely valuable to the general public to be known. I could speak ad nauseum to the challenges of people of extreme poverty. I've used this platform to do that, and I've used other platforms to do that. I've gone to a lot of public hearings, and I've connected with a lot of churches to make a lot of those types of impacts. But what just speaking from my professional experience, what never works is someone saying, I'm right and you're wrong. And I think that's what's so challenging nowadays, is because there is this instant information out there on the internet, because there is this AI everything, and it's so easy to fool people. There are people who think they know everything because they looked up something on the internet, and they're going on to platforms and saying, I know things that you don't, and I'm here to tell you what's right and wrong. But that's not being humble. If you really, really want to change the world, humility is key. And yes, it's okay to present knowledge, but like I was saying earlier, everybody knows something you don't, or everybody knows something that how do I say it? Someone out here in the chat, everybody knows something not everybody else knows. Our knowledge isn't completely universal, and people do not absorb knowledge if they feel as if they're not being heard. I'll call out people on the right because I am, I wouldn't say I'm on the right. I wouldn't say I'm on the left. I'd say I'm pretty independent, registered independent, have voted all sorts sorts of ways for all different candidates. Political in this statement. People on the right don't listen on the right, but there are things every now and then, because in politics it's such a game. So if you really want to change the world, again, listen, but be honest. So you got to find that balance of humility and firmness. And I see I'm without an audience now, so I gotta end this stream. But obey the Spirit with humility. Be Christ-like in your actions and ways, and love is the answer. I know it sounded like John Lennon when saying that, but if you really love, think about this before I finish, sorry. If you really love someone, if you really care about someone, listen, and also be honest. Listen and be honest. How do you do that? Sometimes it's hard to be honest, but the honest truth is sometimes more about, like, well, what's that saying out there? Someone help me out in the chat. An honest truth is more valuable than what is it? A blank lie. What is the word? An honest truth is better, like a nice lie. A kind truth is better than a nice lie. A firm truth is better than a nice lie. I forget what it was, but I see my chat activity has got dwindled. But hope all is well with you guys.